Hello and welcome back to Badminton Insight. If you're new here, we're Greg and Jenny, two professional players. We're currently in Malaysia for the Malaysia Open, and in this video we're going to show you what's inside our badminton bags.
Yeah, we think we might show a few surprising things that help us when we're training and competing, and they also might help you too. So let's get straight into it. First up in this compartment is our rackets. We usually carry anywhere between 5 and 8 rackets in our bag, always with fresh strings. And I'm using the Victor Auraspeed HS Plus.
And I'm using the Auraspeed 90K Metallic. And in the same compartment here, we also have a tube of Victor Master Ace shuttles. So we use these shuttles for 95% of our training, and then just before a tournament, we'll swap to the shuttle that they use in that tournament.
Okay, let's move on to a small compartment next, and this is where we keep our shoes.
So I'm using the Victor S823 Nitrolites.
Yep, and I'm using the A970 Nitrolites, but I also like those too.
Yeah, and thankfully we can keep our shoes in a separate compartment.
Alrighty, compartment 3 is this main compartment, and there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, so we've got this pouch, which we'll get onto in a minute. And then next up in this compartment, we have a spare change of clothes. And then we'll also have a spare match t-shirt, because we're playing the world #1s here later this week. So if they're in the same colour t-shirt as us, then we'll need to change to a different one because we're ranked lower. And then once we've finished with this kit, it will go into this sweaty kit bag.
We've also got our Badminton Insight bottle, which can also double as a foam roller, and a towel for sweat, or if the floor is really slippery. Although, obviously we wouldn't use it for both of these at the same time.
Okay, let's move on to this pouch, as neither of us could live without these. And as we're going through it, you'll probably notice that everything is carefully chosen with both size and weight in mind, as a heavy bag isn't good for either your shoulders or the airlines.
First up, we have our racket accessories. So as we're away in Asia for 3 weeks, we have a lot of spare grips. I use toweling grip, so have brought a whole roll with me, as if we're training in hot holes and I'm working hard, then they need changing quite a lot. The last thing I want to be doing is letting go of my racket on any smashes. Some more racket accessories, so we have some scissors for cutting our strings out, and then we also have some spare sets of string.
Okay, next we have a couple of different resistance bands, which we use every day in our warm-ups, and so do most pros. So we use these small ones for lower body exercises, and this longer one we generally use for our shoulders.
Then keeping on the same theme of training accessories, we've also got this mini foam roller, which weighs almost nothing, and we'll use this for targeting areas like our feet and calves.
All right, just a few more things in here. So we have deodorant, essential, shoe spray,
Also essential.
yeah. And then the last few things in here are more of the first aid type products. So we have some pain relief, paracetamol and ibuprofen, some freeze roll-on, plasters and some tape, which also comes in handy when we're filming silly scenes in our videos.
Now, moving on to our last compartment.
Yeah, so first up we have some tissues. Always good if you have a nosebleed or need to blow your nose on court.
Then we've got these electrolyte sachets, which hydrate you a lot more than water does. So we'll typically have one of these either before or after a training session or match, and they really help us with jet lag as well.
We also have some snacks, so typically we'll always carry a piece of fruit like a banana and a cereal bar. And then we have our electronics.
Yes, so we have some AirPods, which are really useful for any long bus journeys to and from the hall, a small power bank, and a mini tripod for our camera, and also a phone adapter in case we need to get any footage for our YouTube videos when we're out and about.
Then of course we also have our phones, and we wanted to share our 3 most used apps when we're at tournaments, because even if you don't travel for tournaments, they'll hopefully help you when you're travelling for holidays or for work. First up is this Google Translate app, which is very useful if you're at a restaurant and you don't understand anything on the menu. So all you do is take a picture of it and it auto-translates everything to English.
Next up is Surfshark VPN, which we've talked about lots before on the channel, so we won't go through it all again here. But we use it almost daily, mostly so we can watch the badminton. But our most useful app is probably our eSIM app, Saily, who are very excitingly the sponsor of today's video.
Saily is an eSIM company, which essentially lets you stay connected when you're abroad. And to be honest, we'd be lost without it.
Yeah, we literally would be lost without it. Finding your way to restaurants using maps needs internet. Choosing your food using the Google Translate app needs internet. Watching matches needs internet. You get the picture.
So, how does it actually work? Well, all you need to do is download the Saily app, which is available on both iOS and Android, and then buy a plan. You can either just search for the one location you're going to, like Malaysia, Or if you're visiting a few places, you can select Asia. And they've got eSIM plans available for over 180 countries. Without this, we'd either have to get an actual SIM when we land, which is a huge faff, or we'd have to pay data roaming fees, which would cost us an arm and a leg.
So if you want to get Saely before your next trip, then download the app in the App Store or go to saely.com/Badminton Insight and then enter the code Badminton Insight at checkout to save yourself 15% off the Saely data plans.
Hopefully this video will give you some ideas of what to add to your own bag, and we'll include links to everything we've mentioned throughout the video in the description below. And yes, all of the badminton gear is Victor, as they're a long-term partner of ours, but we genuinely love all of their products and we'd really recommend them. So yeah, links in the description below.
And that's it for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please drop it a like, smash the subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you on another video very soon.
Bye.